What sparked your interest in music originally?
I have no idea. It was
No
so long
idea.
ago. Yes, it was so long ago. I remember growing up, I took my grandma's there. She had a stand where I don't know how to explain it. She used that thing. It was a rod, and she used it to make the cloth, because we were making our own clothes back then. I'm
Yeah.
100 years old. So I used to take that road and use it as a microphone and singing. I was
Yeah.
singing, I was singing all day, every day. So I think it was just in me, the passion to sing and to express myself through music. But what really sparked my interest in learning music was when my father brought home a toy piano
Okay.
with the keys were so little, very, very small keys. And I started playing by ear,
Okay.
and in 5 days time I already played all the Christmas songs that I knew.
Wow.
Yes. So it was natural to me. I thought everyone could do it. And then
Huh.
the music teacher came to my village. She taught music. And when she found me, she told my parents that she's really good. I'm going to do lessons to her for free because I think she must do something with music. She was my first teacher. She was very kind to me. And I think she's one of the reasons that I'm
Mhm.
here now.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting to think about. Like, I mean, you're on an island, so it's a little bit more isolated, but the fact that you just start playing and you're playing by ear, you don't need formal training at this point, and you just think it's like everybody can do it. That's like an interesting thing.
Yes. Yes, when later I saw that other people cannot do it, it was very strange to me. I thought to myself, why? Why? It's so easy. But
Yeah.
well, it's not, apparently.
So how many instruments can you play now?
Well, I started with the keyboards,
Okay.
the piano. There's my piano.
Hmm.
And then one summer, a boyfriend of mine
Okay.
played a song on his guitar. And I said, guitar. So I told my father I want a guitar. So he bought me one. I was lucky in that too, because whatever musical instrument I wanted, they bought it for me. So I was lucky. So I bought the guitar. I stayed in my room for like 1 or 2 months that summer.
Okay.
I never left my room.
Wow.
And I learned to play the guitar by myself. So I play the guitar. The only instrument that I'm trained is the piano. All the other instruments I learned by myself. So I play the guitar, the ukulele. Oh, I did some lessons for oboe. So I play some
Okay.
oboe. I play the accordion. I play the mandolin. And a lot of percussion, and
Wow. So
yeah.
when you're teaching yourself, what's your process?
Well, my process is, for example, when I took the guitar on my hands, I ask somebody, what are the notes on the strings? And they tell me, E, A,
Okay.
D, G. And I said, oh, so that thing must be a semitone. And I stay by myself and try things. Well, now we have YouTube. So if I want to
Yeah.
learn something new, I just watch a tutorial on YouTube. But back then, when I learned all those instruments that I'm saying, there was no YouTube. So I had to improvise and test things with my hands. and see what is more comfortable with me, with my hands and my posture. I think I still hold the accordion on the wrong way. I've
Really?
learned the wrong way, and I still play the wrong way, but I don't care as long as I play the things that I want to play, because all these instruments, I don't play in front of people, doing concerts.
Hmm.
I play them in order to record for my music.
Yeah.
So I play it 1,000 times and I have no problem, recording it again and again and again.
Yeah.
The only instrument that I feel comfortable playing in front of an audience, and that I haven't been formally taught, is the guitar, because I play guitar many, many years. So I think I have it at some point.
That's cool. Like, when you're like listening to, when you're playing it by ear, like what, I guess it's probably hard to describe, but like how do you know like which one is like this note or this note, or like how does that work playing it by ear?
Well, there are many levels of doing that.
Okay.
While I was being formally trained to be a musician in the university and at the conservatory, sorry, I use the French word, the conservatory, the music school.
Yeah.
I went to the university, and at the same time I was studying at the music school, the two different things, but I was really, really trained. As I was learning more about music, it was easier to understand what was going on in the music you were listening to. But I will start from the beginning. When I was young and I wasn't trained formally, I listened to the notes, I sang them, and then I sat on the piano and I was trying different keys to see which fits. So when I got the first note, I said, okay, this is the first note. Mm-hmm. Then I use my relative ear, because there's the perfect pitch and the relative pitch in music. Do you know about these terms at all? Have you ever heard about that?
Not really. I don't think so.
Well, there are two kinds of musicians. There are the musicians who have a perfect pitch and the musicians that have relative pitch. Perfect pitch is an anomaly of the brain, and all us, the rest of musicians who have relative pitch, we hate the ones that have the perfect pitch, because perfect pitch means you hear something and without testing it on an instrument, you know what the note is. Really? So you hear something, you say, oh, it's B flat. Oh, it's E. It's A. You want to strangle them. What is happening there? It's something in their mind. Yes. You're either born with that or not.
And most people are not born with that.
Most people are not born with that, but you can cultivate the perfect pitch, but it's really, really hard. I think you have to start cultivating as earlier as you can from your childhood. Okay. I wasn't that lucky, so I trained my relative pitch. Relative pitch means you find the first note and then you compare the musical interval with that first note. And so and then you say, oh, it's going up, how much up? It's going down, how much down the melody goes. And then you find the melody. It may take you, the first time it may take you hours and hours or days and weeks. But as you train, you get better and better and better. And right now, I teach music for over 15 years. And teaching music always makes you a better musician. I am a much better musician now than I was before I started teaching music. So right now I have a pretty good relative pitch, but my knowledge of music harmony makes it very easy for me. When I listen to a song, sometimes I'm in the car listening to the radio and I say to myself, oh, now it's the fourth chord going to the fifth chord, now to the one chord, and it's the fourth minor chord. And I'm talking to myself like a crazy person in the car.
Wow. So when you hear music on the radio or just like a random song, like, are you
Oh my God, it's a disaster. It's a torture.
can you not set that aside of like,
It's a torture. Well, I have two things to say about that.
okay.
On the one hand, you appreciate music more with the knowledge of music. You can appreciate it and you can understand in many levels different things. Some things that not a musician cannot understand. But the same thing that makes you appreciate and feel deeper the music is the same thing that sometimes prevents you from just listening to the goddamn music, just listening, you know. When I listen to music, I always analyze different levels of the music, the orchestration, the harmony, the melody, the production, the filters that are used, you know. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's hard work. It's hard work listening.
I can imagine. I don't want to do that work.